All right, so today we're going to get started with B1 since it's the setup we actually took. So I'm just going to explain my bias here. So if you remember yesterday, we had marked this high here. You remember we marked this day's high and we were anticipating price to either come and respect this level or this level here. So what I realized is price actually just gave a sniper buy right on that level. So if we drop down to a smaller time frame, before we drop down, you'll see daily we're above the 13. So the bias is bullish. I'm still open to seeing price come all the way up here. I was even open to seeing price come interact with the 13 EMA, but if we have momentum, then price will most likely continue pushing up. So if we drop down to the 1 hour, you see there's the sniper entry there for that day's low right here. Then this is the order block. Safe buys were right above here. So I'm looking forward for price to push up, but I would love them to come retest first. Once we get a retest here, we anticipate something like this. So if we don't get a retest and we get a close above this area, we just want to also monitor. Maybe we might get a smaller retracement and price will still push up. So bias for the day on B1 is bullish. Yesterday, I'm also going to explain quickly. There was a quick scalp buy which I took. If you notice this level, I'm not sure if I marked it during the Zoom or I marked it when I was just analyzing during the day. I realized I had a level here. So price came, created a pattern, but this pattern was more clearer on M15 because that's where I spotted it. So on M15, we were respecting the previous day's low initially. Once I saw this, I knew the stop hunt is done. So price was going to do two things, either push to the 50 or the 200 and drop, or maybe push to a certain level in here. So when I came to the charts, price was somewhere here. So I just used this as my higher low, and this is my order block. So price came above, entered a buy, they retraced, retested that zone and pushed up. I think it went to about, let's see, how many pips was that? I think it was a 60 pip move. Let me just check. It was a 60 pip move and I just closed. For some reason, I decided to close. I had even forgot about this level on the bottom. So it was about, yeah, 63. It was about a 60 pip move, took profits. Then today, I realized we also, if you look at it this way, we've got a head and shoulder pattern here. So I saw this late. I only saw it when we were here. That's why I decided to take a runner because we've broken this H1 order block. So this is an inverted head and shoulder pattern. Possibly price will either come bounce off here. If you notice, I also have multiple buy limits because price can come bounce off this level. They can come bounce off this level. They can come bounce off this yesterday low price. And the worst case scenario will be price coming back to the equal lows. But either way, I do have a bullish bias still. Until this price, if they break this low, if let's say they do this, then price will be bearish. But for now, I would say we are bullish. So also on the TDI, I'll be waiting for something like a baseline bounce just to confirm. So if price comes, maybe gives us like a W type pattern here, then we can look forward for buys. Then we can aim for yesterday's high is the TP. We can aim for the day before yesterday is the TP. Then from our higher time frame analysis, we can aim for this level at the top here as a take profit as well. That'll be around 14,400, I think. So that's a possible take profit as well. So that's my current view on B1000, and I'm just going to leave it here on. Let me just check if I can run a fib as well. Okay, so it depends with where they start retracing. If let's say price decides to just continue pushing up without a retracement, at some point they'll give a small retracement. Then we're going to run a fib. So that means we're going to have new buy limit values. But for now, based on where price is hit, the buy limit areas, you can see where 38.2 is right on our first buy limit, which is this order block here on the H1. 38.2. Then is the price, if they do come slightly below, you see the next buy limits I gave in the group. They are around this area, with the worst case scenario being this price line. So this looks like it could be the setup of the day if it actually forms nicely as we anticipate. So that's it for B1. C1000, I'm still frustrated with this because from the week beginning, I failed to catch this sell because the move started on Sunday. We missed that drop on Sunday. Then they retraced right at 2 a.m. They continued. So yesterday we had marked this level as a point of interest. We had marked this zone as a point of interest. I also had this zone, even though it was low probability, just because I was open to seeing price come to this level or this level. So they ended up respecting this area with a 13 EMA. The timing also was a bit late because I think this was almost midnight. Timing was late, so I didn't catch this setup. Otherwise, there was a nice pattern in here as well. And they continued dropping. So again, they've really moved a lot for me to say, let's sell here. I prefer seeing deeper retracements. So I'm still open to seeing price come back either to this level, or this level. Those are my points of interest. So C5, not really high probability. The best setup would have been this drop or this drop. These were the two best setups, but the timing of the setups, they fell in a time where here Sunday we're not on the charts, and Monday it was early hours, so we couldn't catch that. So otherwise, it was a very good sell because even if you look at the daily candle, you can see that huge sell yesterday. That's the sell we're actually supposed to be in, but it's all good. We await a retracement here. So you can see they eventually broke this. I think these are the all-time lows, if I'm not mistaken, or we are close to the all-time lows. Yeah, we are close to the all-time lows. So I feel like before this price decides maybe to push up, we are going to take out these all-time lows. So we've been speaking on this setup since last week when we had this sell. Then this week is also bearish. But since today is Tuesday, we still want to get that retracement, then possibly look for a continuation sell. So today, if a setup does form, it might form only a bit later. So this would be my point of interest. So I'll say 55.03, or let's just say 5500. From 5500 to 5520, for now, that's my point of interest. If we sell from here for some reason, I cannot trade this because I do not really have a clear pattern. My system doesn't really allow me to enter here. But if we come up to this zone, take out some liquidity above here, then we can possibly get a sell. So that's it for C1. C3, I actually scalped a sell at some point yesterday, even though I didn't share the signal. I remember, let me talk about this actually. For those who are paying attention to the daily chart, I remember I mentioned price was trading between the 50 and the 13, and I mentioned we want to pay attention when they come above, and we want to pay attention when they come below. There was some zones which I had marked in the. So what happened is I started to see this week form, and I realized, okay, this is actually a point of interest. Why don't I jump down to M15 and see if my pattern is there? So when I came to M15, you see this was my markings. When I came, the spike was forming and price was here, right here. So I scalped a sell here, took profits here. I think it was a really short-term trade. Then price retrace. I was now focused on C5, if I'm not mistaken. So I let this one go. But the pattern actually played out nicely. We had a drop again and a retest of this area again. And price just continued slowly dropping, even though there was deeper pullbacks. These are not the pullbacks we want to see. They had deep pullbacks, just like what B5 does. So it was a good trade. Then today, what I'm looking at, you can see price sort of retested that same zone which was broken yesterday, right here. This break here. So it's the same zone. So this is the higher high of today. For me to sell this now, the only order block I see is this one. So you can see I have got this zone marked out for myself for today. So here I still have to be patient for price to come down, then potentially retest, then I can look for a sell. But otherwise, that's the current pattern I have. If we don't break this area, price might actually do this and continue pushing up. So we won't have anything here. But for now, this would be my point of interest. So yeah, it takes a lot of discipline to actually not get in here, because here there is no guarantee that we will come down until we break this. So that's why you see I'm not buying this as much as it is moving. I cannot sell this. I mean, as much as it is dropping, I cannot sell it because there is no confirmation here. So I'll simply wait for a break. Price can even come as low as here because this could be an impulsive move. So if it's an impulsive move, then I'll run a fib, then I'll wait for a retracement, potentially to retrace into the broken order block here. Then I can look for potential sells if the pattern holds. So that's it for C3. C5 now, C5, C5, C5. Yesterday, it's been a bit frustrating because yesterday it took us out. I think here we're actually in it here, if I'm not mistaken. This was a flip zone area. So for some reason, we mapped out this setup, right? A break, retest. So I'm sure you guys caught it. I hope you caught it. Let me just see if there's a pattern here. Okay, that's today's level there. If we break this order block, then we can potentially sell. Right now, we're still waiting for H1 to close as well to show us that we are actually retracing. So going back to yesterday, what happened is, for some reason, I don't know why I started seeing something else, even though we had planned the trade here. We planned sales here, we planned sales here. So for some reason, I got skeptical. I closed the trade, then they moved, so I missed that setup. Then when they dropped and retested here, we decided to sell here. Then the price decided to pull up. So it got a bit frustrating because we had actually missed an impulsive move there. But anyways, no worries. Price took us out. You can see how the price moved and the thought process I had here and my bias as well. Price decided to come back up. So if you notice, they are trading within a range, right? So this was a fake out. They actually gave a fake out where I was anticipating a break and a retest. So these are some of the things which happen to price. As much as we want price to come down here, you can see what they did. They gave a fake out below this area, came back above this broken zone, retested it, and actually pushed up. So now we are at the top of the range. Remember, we cannot use moving averages if price is in a range. The only thing we can rely on is price action. So the first thing now is H1 is going to close. And this looks like it's a rejection candle of this zone, right? So since it's about to close in 2 minutes, it will definitely close being a rejection candle. The only thing now we need is a pattern. So we've got price reacting around yesterday's high. So that's a point of interest. TDI gave a small M here. We've sort of got equal highs. Here we've got higher highs. So this is a divergence setup. And we are right on the order block. So we can open one sell position at current market price on C5. Okay, C5, C5. I'm just opening the positions on my phone. Okay, one position at current market price. The reason we're only opening one position is price can still bounce off here and decide to continue pushing up. So let's just keep that in mind. But if we get a break here and a retest, then I'm still open to seeing that meltdown. I'm still open, very much open to seeing it. But again, we have to trade what we see. So H1 is closing, being a reversal candle. As you can see, we've hit a resistance zone at the top here. M15, a pattern is forming. It hasn't completed yet. It's still forming. That's the reason we've got one position. There's nothing wrong also with selling here if you're confident and if you understand how price is moving. There's nothing wrong with selling here, but safer entries are always at the break and possibly a retest of the order block. So if this is a range, then I'm looking forward for price to come down to these lows, so we can potentially get 40 pips from the one position we have. Then if price decides to actually break and potentially give a retest, then the trade will most likely get to yesterday's lows and it will most likely be about 50 pips. So this is the current setup we have on C5. M30, you can also see TDI here is showing divergence. We've got sort of lower highs and we've got higher highs here. So that's a divergence setup. So if price can come below the zone, then most likely we're going to get price coming down. But again, we also want to watch how they act on this area. So if we get a break and a potential retest, we can still look forward for scale-ins on that particular setup. So that's it for C5. Then coming back to B1, you can see they're respecting this zone. I think B1 already spoke about it. We're waiting for price to retrace. Then we can look for a continuation buy. B5 is always just moving how it moves. I didn't manage to catch anything yesterday. I didn't manage to catch anything the day before yesterday, although there was a pattern on Sunday right here on the 13 EMA. You can see we had a break of an order block and a retest and price pushed up. Even though I was waiting for them to take out this level first, you can see sometimes price won't come to our zones. We just have to work with what they're doing. So yesterday, I didn't have anything. You can see price was just selling from this high here. We also had hit a level, so I couldn't buy. So today, how am I looking at it? Let me just check weekly. Bullish as we had spoken about yesterday. Bullish, but with no bottom wick. So this still leaves this zone as a point of interest because they can still give a very deep retracement, still give take liquidity down here, create a wick before actually pushing up. That's a possible play. So you can see this will be the point of interest right there. And besides that, the next point of interest I have would be a level slightly above, which is here. I would rather wait for a retracement here before I do anything. So for now, in terms of buys, I don't really have a pattern where I can say I can confidently buy from. We do have a flip zone though on M15. So we might consider buys, but for me, I don't know. This one is not so clear. The buy might actually happen. So this one you just have to use your discretion here. We do have a flip zone, but I still want to see a deeper retracement. I always prefer setups with deeper retracement. And I always struggle a bit like with jumping into continuation patterns because most of the times, based with my system, I usually have losses. That's why you see I don't usually jump or give signals on continuation patterns. But for now, I would say as it is looking, price could just bounce off this level, then continue pushing up, considering the fact that they are bouncing off yesterday's high here. And we also have the 50 EMA. So we could actually get buys anywhere near current market price. Let me actually check the pips here. So stop loss will be about 30 pips. If you can buy here, stop loss would most likely be about 30 pips for now until we see something else. Let me just check the H1. Yeah, we could push up, price could push up. The possibilities are there. But for now, I'm just not too keen on buying. But if I do get something showing me that I can buy, then I might let this price go, then run a fib, then maybe catch a short-term buy. I might consider doing that. I might decide to buy one position here and hold 30 pips, but it will depend. It just depends with how price will be moving candle for candle. So right now, I wouldn't want to take this particular trade, but it has potential of playing out. So if you're seeing a buy, then you can definitely take buys on that particular trade. Then V2501S, I think for now we are sideways. Sideways. There's no price action I can use here based on H1, so I'll leave this one alone. Step index looks like we might get bullish. We might get bullish. Daily is sort of trading back above the 13, potentially heading to the 200s. H4 above the 13 and the 50, open to seeing a retracement here. Let's see what we have on H1. So H1, we are above the 13 EMA. We have a zone here. We have a zone here. So this zone is just based off the week of this H1 candle. When we drop to M15, we're going to see if we can use it. Then we've got this order block here. This order block also looks like it's a demand zone. Will most likely be a demand zone. So maybe we might get buys from here or we might get buys from here. M30. That week on H1, we also have it on M30. Then M15. It's an order block. So you can see it's a week on H1, but on M15, it's actually an order block. So if price drops and respects this and gives a rejection candle here, we can take a buy. This was also a nice buy here. 1350 cross, a break of a structure. If you had run a fib here, you could have taken this buy. Nice price action also here based on just these two candles. Baseline bounce on the TDI. So what I'm anticipating now is a continuation of this buy, and most likely price might give us something like this. So this order block here is lining up with 38.2, and this level here is lining up with 70.5. So I'll say this whole area is a point of interest for buys. All we need is price to retrace, give us a reversal candle here, something we can use. If it's M15, it has to be two candles or a full pattern where price breaks an order block. So they have to like come down, create that low, maybe create a smaller low, then break an order block. Then we can safely buy. That's the pattern you want to see. But if you're confident, once you get a price action like M15, a rejection, maybe a pin bar on M15, M30 or H1, you can still confidently execute a buys from that level. So that's it for step index. I'm going to leave it on M15. Then jump 10. We didn't really have much yesterday. I just marked this channel. As you can see, price didn't come up. They didn't get down as well. We just started going sideways, which is the reason I don't like taking trades in here, because price can go either way. So we might potentially look for buys anyway on these equal lows or on the trend line, or we can look for sells when we get up here. So when we're up here, we look for sells, maybe a break and a retest for buys. If we are here, we look for buys. If you are here, we look for buys. If they do break below, maybe a potential break and retest for a continuation sell. But for now, I don't have anything until price comes here or here. So those are my only views. That's it for J10 step V250. V250, we have nothing. Step, we're waiting for a pullback. B5, just anticipating a potential buy. B1000 waiting for a pullback. C5, let's see, are we going to close here? Let's actually add one more position on C5. One more sell position on C500. Okay, so C5, I'm still very confident with a sell here, just because we're trading from the top of this range coming back down. That's what gives my sell some weight or higher probability. But again, just know they can do anything. You can see here they also frustrated us. This was Sunday. Spoke about this way by they extended the high. After creating a pattern, they still extended the high and took us out. So they might do it again here. Just keep that in mind. But based on TDI here, I feel like we can get that drop which we want, which is the reason why we just scaled in below this order block. 5 minutes until the current M15 closes. We are currently trading below the order block. So most likely we're going to get the sell we want here. So if it plays out, that will be us done for the day. But I'm still confident also with B1. B1, we should actively stock right now. Can they push up? They might. I think with B1, they might push up without a retracement here. I don't know what you think, bro. Should we buy here? Let me see. We are still very close to the 13 EMA. It's about 40 pips. Let me check M5. Okay, we might play out here. We might play out. Okay, if we have one position at current market price, the stop loss is to be 22 pips. It's right below the last M5 candle. So if you're not scared to buy here, one buy position, stop loss on 14,175. That's B1000. Just one position for now because I'm still open to seeing a retracement happening. So okay, just one position on P1 because what might happen is they might not retrace. These guys might just move and not give us a chance. But anyways, at some point, if we break this level with this impulsive move, at some point we will get a retracement. So the trade we are in right now, that runner again, it's a short-term trade. If we get 20, 30 pips, we can close, then wait for that pullback to happen. So if this move goes up, we'll most likely pull back to this zone, this level here. Then we can look for a continuation buy. That's how I'm looking at this. Even though price might retrace deeper, but for now, I feel like, yeah, we can have that one buy position. So that's it. C5, we are active. C3 has broken a zone. Let me see. So after price breaks a zone like this, two things can happen. Either you can sell at current market price, expect a continuation, or you can wait for price to actually go without you, then wait for the retracement and the continuation. Those are the two things you can do here. So since I'm active on B1 and C5, I won't take C3. I'm just going to have to be patient and not take this one. C1, we've got nothing. So that's it for me today. If there's any other views, I'll definitely be sharing them in the group. If my views change based on what we were looking at, I'll also share in the group as well. So that's it from me today. Thank you so much for joining, bro. Those who will be watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hope we have a peaceful day. Good trading.